I was supposed to hit pause and I hit stop. Alright, let me try to go back to this again. I'm going to use two of the hidden dynasties. The educational system and the religious system. Okay. The religious system has taught us we're supposed to have trust and faith in something we can't see. Okay. Which I do believe in God. I've always believed in God. For if He didn't exist, I wouldn't be here. Not for what I went through in the last, my whole life. Things I've got myself into and just walked away from within minutes of something tragic happening. It's happened this way. Then I've been in situations where I knew that I wasn't going to win, or at least I didn't think I was, and come out on top. So, for me, that's proof enough that there is a God. Okay, back to what I was reasoning with when the stupid phone started ringing. I'm not willing to stop critical thinking here. Not since we are woke up to what critical thinking is supposed to be. Okay. And what I mean by this is we've been told our whole life, as soon as we go into the system, school, educational, or for moms and dads and aunts, uncles, grandmothers, grandfathers, they've all been indoctrinated in the same old bullshit too. And we've been told we've been told since we woke up that we've been lied to about everything. Okay, now, if that's the case, we've been lied to about everything. How is it that we are supposed to critically look at the situation that we are in as people and human race and our so-called leaders, okay? And I'm not purposely trying to beat anybody up, okay? We're told that we're supposed to believe in something called a plan, okay? We've seen a lot of it unfold already. We can go back to PubQ and see how some of it's unfolded already and where it's heading, because it was wrote backward. What was coming unfolded now was wrote in the beginning as the beginning of the book, but it got flipped, and we can read the past, the end of the book, to see what our future is going to bring. Okay, we're told this. How many things we've already been told that we've been lied to about our whole lives? Told. Remember this key word, told, to believe. Okay. Okay, I can't. How do we even know that what we're hearing is the truth? Because there's been bits and pieces of it's come true? Is that how we gauge it? Because even lies have a truth in it. Because we've all discussed this. A lie only works because it has a little bit of truth in it. That's the only way it can gain traction. That's the only way it can move forward. Okay, but the opposite is the opposite of truth. Okay, truth don't need a lie to exist. It seems like it takes forever to make its way to the top to show people this is the truth. Okay, so if we're being told this is the truth, this is the gospel, and we're supposed to be moving forward in a plan that we have no clue on what the real plan is, okay? Like I said, it would be taking a $200 car payment to a bank, that's your payment, $200, and giving them $150 and telling them that they got the $200 after they counted it for themselves. Do you think that would work? Okay. Truth in that lie is I gave them $150 of the $200. But I'm telling them that I gave them the $200 out of the $200. So now, critical thinking that woke all of us up is, I don't know if we're supposed to believe something that's supposed to be the truth, but it's on the same path as the lies. Okay, and what I mean by this is it is being told to us again. So, how do we even know what we're hearing is the truth and gauge it in a way to where we can say, yeah, that's the truth, when the whole time in our lives we've been brought up and taught these things, they was being told to us and taught to us as being 100% truthful too. But now, as we gotten older and we started seeing things and hearing things, other things that brings actual truth forward. Okay, it's like what's that idiot's name? That so-called scientist um, that believe we come from a monkey. I can see his face, but I can't think of his name. This man was no scientist. If you go research and find out, um, he was no scientist. He had no real accreditations to his name, other than a theory. Okay, because it sounded good, and some uh, demonic being known as the wealthy and the elite seen opportunity to control the masses with it. Okay, Darwin. Okay, he didn't. I mean, look at the technology we got right now. Okay, he didn't even know there was a DNA strain back then. He had no clue. He had no clue about anything when it comes to the biological workings of down to the chromosomes and the DNA structures, the micro levels of the human body. He didn't have that ability. So they grabbed it and run with it and made it sound like that it was something that it's not. This is what I mean again. How do we know that we're not hearing something that is presenting itself as a truth and it may not be no more than another lie? How do we reinsure ourselves as people, other than like the the map and all the great over 4,000 some odd drops from the number 71 reversed, that that's the truth. We're supposed to follow that. But remember, they told us in the beginning of all this, we've been lied to our whole lives. So they told us up front, that we have been lied to our whole lives. Not just one generation, but multiple generations. So how can we gauge something that comes at us known as the plan, and there's 100% of it out there, somebody knows, but we're barely in the 2% or 3% of that margin of knowing anything? It's just logically critical thinking that don't make no sense to me, and I still feel like there's something hidden that we're not being told about. Okay, I do want to see the best outcome. I do want to see. Uh, I'm hoping I'm 100% wrong. I am hoping I am 100% wrong, and all of this comes to pass, and we do see all of this wondrous things. But what comes with that? Okay, and what I mean is, we're led to believe. Okay, like the AI system. I get a kick out of listening to these highly educated fools. Okay, and that's what they are, fools. They have downfalls, they have fallacies, they have problems with their own life, but then they're going to try to create something that's supposed to mimic this. Okay? And the individual has all these flaws, but somehow or another he can keep all them flaws out of this program that he's programming and building. Well, there's a thought process. This is the logical part of it with the critical thinking. There's a process when it comes to creating anything, okay? And that thought process that helps create this comes from the individual himself. So, we are made to believe that the AI is all impotent and we're all powerful with all of these people that's been playing with this for years, okay? And every one of them's got flaws, every one of them's got downfalls, and has issues in their lives, okay? But we're led to believe that that AI is supposed to be something perfect. Bullshit. Man had his fingers in it. That means it's not perfect. So they're using it against us. They keep trying to take the only thing we can really gauge that we think we can gauge when they go to take something away from us, proof and evidence of anything, it shows that they're trying to hide something, okay? But are they really hiding anything that we don't already know? Think about that. Is it they're trying to keep themselves out of the hot seat or one of their buddies because we want to know too much, okay? Think about the infinite information we got right now. At the touch of a button or a few keystrokes, we can talk to anybody in the world about anything, okay? We didn't have this ability back in the 80s, early 90s. It just started really gaining traction then. Then they figured out it was supposed to have been a mechanism and a tool to captivate us and keep us in control. Okay. Is it working? Some would say no. Me, I can't say that it ain't working. Because the illusion of truth, okay, they had to have a little bit of truth to make a lie work, okay? So, all of this information that they're giving us, truthful or otherwise, is it no more than the illusion that they started out to do to us in the first place? Have we been conned into believing that the information that we receive, digest, correlate back out our mouths to others and us to each other is the truth? Do we know that 100%? Now, I know this sounds like a dog chasing its tail. That's what it seems like to me, but what better way to fool an individual into believing something that may not even be real, may not even have teeth that even eat a bologna sandwich. I just find it, like I said, I find it really strange. They tell us that we've been lied to our whole lives. Then this comes out, and this is supposedly the truth, okay? Which makes sense, but at the same time, you can find flaws in it as well. Okay, that's what logically with the critical thinking does for you. Okay, where do we stand? Okay, on our feet to know 100% we're being told 100% the truth. Okay, still says 4 to 8% of people still won't wake up no matter what happens. Okay, the world could blow up and the damn earth fall out from under the feet, still wouldn't be believing. Okay, that's somebody with a set in stone conscious belief system. Okay, but like I said, we've been lied to about all kinds of things. I heard. Now I'm just going to go into I heard things. Okay, because that's all they are. I can't go pick them up and go find them and follow out the storyline. Heard the last time they went over to the Vatican and they were stripping it down of the hall of the records underground and all the money that was supposedly down there, the gold and the silver and so on and so on. There was a book found, and the guy that was there was a researcher in old old books. He was an expert in all kinds of different languages. The dude was an expert in old literature. He was just an expert in that field. Okay. He found a book that was hidden in the same, my understanding, the same hallway where all this supposedly gold was collected from, that was covered up and hidden, he said, right well, and he drags it out and he starts doing research in it, and he translates the name of the book, and it was called the Bible. Okay? He said this was probably the truest Bible on this earth right now. Okay. What have we got? 66 books, old and new. If I'm doing it correctly, if I ain't, forgive me, y'all. You can correct me, I don't care. Uh, New and Old Testament, New Testament. Okay. According to him, this book that he found has 777 books in it. That's Bible. So what is it that we're not being told? Okay, that was just, like I said, hearsay. To me, I always like hearing something about our history when it comes to the Bible, because I always found it funny, and I found this out about 15, 18 years ago, that every time they would find something new, these so-called idiot scientists slash archaeologists that didn't believe in God, the first place they'd go back to was the oldest text they could find in the Bible to find out what they found. So they always go back to the Bible, the thing they try to fight the most and try to kick to the curb. They always use it to prove their new findings. I always found that retardedly funny. This is the people that I'm speaking of here. You see what I'm saying? Is it truth or is it a lie? See, they use the lie and the truth to find the middle. Okay, that's where they can stand upon and say, okay, it's got to be true, or okay, it's got to be a lie. Okay, but we're being done the same way, because we only know, if we're lucky, 5% of the so-called plan. We've heard things is going on. I mean, I heard last week, and I put it out to a few people. Um, we're having problems out of flag officers not willing to go along with the plan because they're so stupidly retarded. They think that they know better than the generals that's been planning this for the last 60 years. No, they need to be demoted, stripped of their fucking stripes, and run back out into the general population. That's what needs to happen to them if they can't get in line with what's supposed to be the truth. Okay? See, they're even lie, truth, right down the middle. There you go. But for some reason, they keep swaying over here, thinking, well, these generals and Trump and all of them must be lying to us. It shouldn't be that fucking hard to figure out for most people, even Mr. Joe and the new studios in Atlanta, Georgia. I can't think of the damn name of the studio. It's God, man, I hate that. I used to watch that fool all the time. He's a black comedian, but he plays a woman, an older woman. That's the name of the studios. Is his name, his real name in real life. And I just have a hard time sometimes remembering names. I can see his face. But anyway, that's where Mr. Joe's faux White House is. Put out a video last week. Was trying to get it to launch from this PC, this laptop. They told me I had too many strikes. I went and looked. I couldn't even find the strikes they said I had. So I zip drived it and took it to another computer and downloaded it twice. One on my site and one on my old lady's site. It went. Imagine that. There's their AI. There's a flaw in their AI, if y'all understand what I mean. Went completely around it. Now remember, these are supposed to be some smart ass people making this. None of them thought about that? Really? But anyway, I won't stay on here too long. But like I said, I still feel like I've got it here, knowing that it's all going to work out for the best for all of us. Or at least I feel that way. But at the same time, I still feel like even the people that's supposed to be telling us the truth in their own sort of kind of way is still lying to us about things that we shouldn't be lied to. We're grown ass adults, okay? If we can accept things, okay, as truth, gospel truth, okay, and not run from it, knowing there's three pills to this: the blue, the red, and the black is one that most people don't want to deal with because it comes to dealing with um, satanic shit and children. Okay, don't even have a child of my own, but if I seen somebody out here in the general public hurting a child, my ass would punch the fucker in the face, point blank. Especially when I felt like they was going beyond the point of just trying to correct their child. If I ever seen a man or a woman take their fist and hit their kid in the head or whatever, I'm going to hit them in the fucking head. Okay? Because that's a child. If they don't have no more fucking concept than that, they don't need that child. But I've got in trouble even in my young years because the way I was brought up. Had numerous arguments and fights over shit like that when I'd see it. Guys that be smacking the shit out of their girlfriend, I'd just reach up and smack the shit out of him. Didn't give a fuck. Told him, so now you're the bitch. So this is what you're going to do to your girlfriend? Well, she deserved it. And I said, you did too, punk. You deserved it as well. Because he didn't have quite understanding that her, even though she got a mouth, the only way that I'd physically hit a woman if she come at me fighting me like a man. Then she needs to be dotted between the eyes. But I wouldn't be trying to break nothing. I wouldn't be trying to make her black and blue. I've also found out a few things in my life when it comes to hitting a man or woman. There's certain points in the head, if you hit them and strike them, they slow the fuck down real fast. Temple's one, right here between the eyes is another. Okay? I've never had to fight a woman that way. Most of the time, I mean, if I ever had to get that physical, I'd grab them and sling them across the bed or something. Then it dawned on him, hey, he's a little stronger than I am. Okay? But it didn't last very long after that either. Then we went to the apology stages. Neither one of us agreed that we should have went that far. That was 90%, well, no, 100% of any kind of argument that I've ever had with any kind of woman when it comes to physical touching in that manner. Okay. Like I said, there's a lot of things that just still yet I know people's trying to explain to me to put it in my heart to have a better grasp or understanding. I trust God. I trust whatever the plan is because I know God's got his hands in it. I don't trust man because even our good book tells us that man will let us down every time because we're men, we're women. We're fallible to that, not to do the right damn things. Or something sways us. Squirrel type shit. We're just that way. We try to be not that way, but most of the time we are. Okay. It's like I said, how do we know that we're actually being told the truth when it's already said that there's going to be a 20-80 situation? 20% up front, 80% later, okay? And then the information on the 80% is supposed to be there in all gory ass details on who these people are, what they've been doing for numerous years, goes back thousands of years, really. The first real adrenochrome drinker was Vlad the Impaler. And if you read some of his manuscripts on some of the trips that man was taking after drinking blood of people that he impaled and cut up, yeah, his enemy was scared to death of him. But at the same time, the way he speaks in his journals about the white rabbit, let's just say that, uh, he goes through in details of stages. And I've done a lot of LSD in my life. Loved it. Still like it. It'd probably kill me now if I dropped a couple good hits. But I'd I'd be tripping for 18, 19 hours. Okay? Seeing things, hearing things, all kinds of shit. And the whole time I'm telling myself that I'm hallucinating because I'm taking acid. It was a way to talk yourself down off of a cliff or a window ledge from jumping. You reminded yourself constantly what you're hearing and seeing is due to an LSD situation. Okay, you're on drugs. You had to constantly tell yourself this. At least I did. So I didn't go off in another realm that I shouldn't have been dancing around in because my understanding, the ayahuasca and the LSD trips and the DMTs and all that shit, these shaman and these new age young people that's doing this, they're saying they're opening doors to another realm. Okay? Apparently I was too and just didn't know it. Because all this information come out years later and I started listening to them and I was like, then I'd sit there and think about some of these hallucinations that I had. And I was thinking, they may be right because I remember seeing things in these trips that I was thinking I was just hallucinating that may have been something that if I'd have walked over and opened it up, sometimes it'd be a box. Just out of the blue, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm seeing something. Or I would sometimes kind of walk up, and it would be a paper box. But I wouldn't touch it. I just, okay, I'm going about my business. But just think if I would have flipped over the paper box, and all of a sudden there was another world inside that box. Or would I have been? Would I have made it back? I noticed several people at, years ago. One girl that I used to hallucinate with, and she shit probably 20 different trips before she completely never come back. And she thought she was a tomato. And another boy, I know him. He only thing that he can actually, I mean, he remembers faces, but he don't remember names. And he'll have the same conversation with you, okay, that he did 20 some years back. It's like he's reliving a loop in his life. That's what it reminds me of. And I hate him, and I hated seeing it, and I was thinking, this is what, if I allow myself to get too deep into this situation, this is what I could be seeing. Maybe that was the reason these things was created for us, to go against us, and we just didn't know it. Because I wasn't thinking about it years ago when I was a teenager and up in my upper 20s. Only thing I was going to have some fun. It made your senses super heightened. Your smell, your taste, your eyes, your hearing, your touch. Also, if your adrenaline got up, you would become 3 and 4 times stronger, faster. I experienced that myself. I just dropped 2 hits of this stuff called Little World, and I was inside of a friend of mine's apartment, and all of a sudden I started hearing a bunch of commotion, and ran outside and said the cops was coming. So I run to the back gate on the property, and it was 2 4x4 posts, concreted in the ground about 2 foot. Had a gate on it. I didn't reach for the gate to open the gate. I grabbed the 2 4x4 posts on both sides, all in one lift, all in one motion, like I was down trying to tackle somebody. I grabbed it about 2 foot off the ground, grabbed both 4x4 posts, concrete in the ground 2 foot, yanked them straight up out of the fucking ground and threw it over my head and took off running down the alley. Didn't realize what I'd done. Friend's landlord, he had run out the door because he heard the commotion. He had his gun with him. He said when he seen me yank the fence up out of the ground, the gate with the 2 posts, he put his gun back in his holster. He said because that scared the shit out of him because he had never seen nobody do that. And he was an ex-Vietnam vet. He wouldn't talk to me till I come down. But I got away from something that wasn't even going on. But somebody started just because they was running around hallucinating to them, thinking, if I remember correctly, we was having a big acid party. And it just happened that way. So, here again, like I said, I'm going back to the same scenario. For if we're being told the truth, how do we know? Okay, we can put it and speculate it in the ways that we want to put it and speculate it, but it doesn't make it true. We got clues that it's a big possibility it's the truth, but we still don't know. This is, I guess, what makes it hard on me. I know that the Lord, like I said, I know the Lord's got his hands in this because we are his children. Okay, we're also co-creators in everything that's going on down here, and there's too much good on this earth and in people for us just to be squashed out. And for whatever it takes to wake up the rest of the masses to the truth that we think is the truth, we just still don't know. Until it actually presents itself 100%, unfolds in front of us 100%. Then we know we was right. Because that's more than anything that hit me last night is like, it ain't doubt because I didn't feel doubt. The only thing I felt is we already know we've been lied to our whole life. So what makes it any different now versus our whole life? I'm 50-some years old. You know, I had probably a good 10 years that I was not molested up here when it come to the systems and flipped around and turned just like the rest of us at any age. Then they're spoon feeding to the young people now about socialism, AI, and all this retarded, dumb shit, trying to get God out of it. Ours was supposed to be that dumbass, and I just mentioned his name earlier, the one that thinks we come from a fucking ape. That was ours. That was our AI. Okay? Now, they're doing it even more so, and even still putting that dumbass in there as a fact when he's no more than a damn theory. Sad I can see his face, but I can't never remember his name. Maybe that's a good thing. But anyway, peace to all y'all. It wasn't meant to be confusing at all. But I'm also under this critical thinking thing and logic. Like I said, I still feel like there's something being hid from us that we're not being told about. And if it's to be this ungodly and ghastly, I would rather know and be able to try to maybe prepare for it mentally before it just all of a sudden snuck up on me and all hell broke loose. Okay? Not knowing is worse than knowing. At least knowing you can do something about it. Without knowing, what can you do? Your hands are tied. I know this is going to make sense to some. Some it's probably going to get in touch with me and try to, I guess, talk me down, so to speak, or reassure me, and I appreciate that. But at this time, it's different than what I felt and have an understanding of before. Like I said, I trust the situation because the Lord's got his hands in it. Darwin, that's who I was talking about, that dumbass. But they did that purposely too. Like I said, that was our AI for us, the older generations. Okay, that dumbass. Him and his theories, but it's being taught as a fact, and it's not. They don't have no fucking proof. Matter of fact, like I said, back when he was around, there wasn't even any way to even see the genomes and the DNA or anything. He didn't have that ability. Plus, he wasn't no damn scientist. What he wasn't. Period. Go read. But they throw it at us as fact, truth. And that's what I mean. How do we know what we're hearing is the truth? Is it all about patience and having to just sit around and just twiddle our thumbs and wait? I guess that's what it's got to be, because we're seeing bits and pieces that looks and sounds good, uplifts us, and at the same time, we got these faux idiots that's running around acting like our leaders, knowing we all seen it. The jet ain't Air Force One. The beast ain't the beast. And his new hangout is in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where everybody's at. That's where everybody's signing in papers. People's done went and found it. And like I said, I wished I could remember that black fella's name. He plays an older black lady. I laugh my ass off at him because the shit that he does, okay? And supposedly he's a Christian. Then I heard something good about Chris Tucker, and I wasn't for sure about him, but he ended up over on that island with, y'all know who I'm talking about. But he ended up over that island one time, and whatever he's seen or whatever happened to that man, it wasn't long after that he left Hollywood, and he actually is telling everybody that he found God, and him and God's got a good relationship right now, and he don't want nothing to do with Hollywood. So something scared the immortal shit out of him, but I'm kind of glad too, because Chris Tucker was an individual that he could make a dead man laugh. Some of the crazy shit that he would pull off. But anyway, peace to all y'all. And I'm not putting this out to be confusion to anybody. If we are to critically think and logically critically think, there's still things here that has been left out of the so-called plan we know nothing about. So we can assume that we're heading in the right direction and be patient with it and trust God. That's all we can do. Or is there other things they're still not telling us? We knowing there's three pills: the blue, the red, and the black. And the black is horrifying for most people, and especially when it comes to the demonic beings that's been playing with our society for thousands of years. We are seeing a spiritual war, and at the same time, the spiritual war is playing a war in all of our minds when it comes to this. Some handles it better than others. Some see something that sets them in stone to have an understanding. Okay, this is how it is. That's going to be. Some of us has to think too when they're telling us the truth, but in the same breath before that, they tell us that we've been lied to our whole lives. How do you gather that? How does that work? Peace to all y'all.